And now, a bunch of silly miniature reviews of various games in my collection along with an out of 10 rating. Feel free to ask me for a more detailed opinion. Ready? Go! Hotline Miami, but with Nightcrawler defenestrating people and a much less batshit insane story. It's like bullet hell at first, but then you get into close quarters and it's like you're controlling a bombastic anime fight scene dodge for dodge. Awesome game, but the motion control combat on the Wii version is broken as crap. Oh come on, even Hideki Kamiya himself once said it was terrible. Ever wanted to play the impossible game but with a worse sense of depth perception? Take those Greek mythology children's books by Tony Robinson and make that into Pikmin. Could've used that little bit of permanent progression like in most roguelites. Twitch shooters require different skill sets when your weapon isn't hit scan and everyone has slippery momentum. It's like Myst meets Path Picks if it was only the infuriating parts, and with a worrying price tag for a game as niche as this. Stanley was so bad at staying to his role that he suddenly turned into gender-flipped Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Holy shit, people thought political correctness would get the better of this game? Oh, hindsight. I'm Ricky Bobby, and if you don't chew Big Red, then f*** you. See, it's very much possible to build a game mostly around luck and not have it be a pile of crap. Princess Mononoke with giant robots occasionally gets interrupted by slippery rocks and weapons made of biscuits. Team Skull aren't bad, they're just hard. I will always stand by the notion that this is a clever and very pretty game, even if Phil Fish is the worst thing to happen to Twitter until MovieBob waxed political during the rise of Mr. Metica's Fedora Brigade. And that, ladies and gents, is why Stamper's narration is better than sex. Diner Dash Cooking Mama Typing Tutor somehow becomes the 7th most played game in my Steam library. Scarily complicated 3D terrain designer contains a theme park minigame. To this day, I'm still getting freezes and sound glitches on a mother-humping GTX 1070! Bet you didn't know the PC version had a first-person mode, eh? Monster Hunter with Saiyan maggots! I still to this day have trouble believing that the Swing Wing was a real toy. Tying the same custom track to the same order of floors on every run really doesn't last for me, I'm sorry. Oh great, another fine Machete product. Who thought it was a good idea to directly translate stick rotation to a keyboard? If it wasn't for the Naruto monopoly, I'd be surprised at how ninjas aren't treated the same way that nerd culture treats zombies. How the hell is a game as tranquil as Myst this laggy on middling settings? Rocket jumping taken to its less explosive extreme. The largest roster of playable characters in any fighter I've ever seen, let alone DBZ, although pre-Kai Freeze's voice feels a bit bizarre to listen to in hindsight. Wait, what do you mean you can't completely turn the annoying sidekick voice off? Starting to show its age somewhat, but I am rather biased because the one and only Les Claypool did the soundtrack. A Highway Star cover with only one solo, a Canned Heat cover that skips a verse, and motherfucking Good Charlotte? How the hell did this still end up being one of the greatest rhythm games ever? Bite-sized roguelike Megami Tensei. What if Final Fantasy Tactics was about the Power Rangers fighting Lady Gaga? Are you sure Cobra Stan isn't a real country? Have a pizza party! What could possibly go wrong in a Lovecraftian dungeon crawl? Quite a lot, apparently. Call upon the sea ponies when you're in distress. Ja, das ist Numberwang! I will never look at Homsar the same way ever again. Bejeweled with forward planning, a time limit, plenty of coitus, and a barista character that I find uncomfortably relatable. I sure do love it when Shepard gets to report to the ship as soon as possible.
We'll bang, okay?
What it lacks in open-endedness, it makes up for with its immersion. Here you go, keep that creepy safe. Hi, doggy. Okay, be honest with me here, was I really the only one who bought this because of the Pink Floyd Easter egg? I challenge you to name another turn-based strategy game where you can win out against an opposing army by annoying them so hard that they give up. I love everything about this game except the final boss fight. The game whose difficulty curve was so poorly slanted it damaged Akraloth's psyche for years to come. The online mode sucked as well! Well, it made me giggle at least. I mean, after the Waste of Space expansion came out anyway. This is probably the funniest game Telltale has done since Sam & Max, even if it's let down a bit by a disappointing ending. It could have been a wonderful tribute to the Macross style of mecha anime, but it really didn't need to have roguelike elements. You know you're doing something right when you use the term bro-op and nobody mocks you for it. Hey, Mass Effect is great, but I'd have probably liked it more if it was a C-list Jason Bourne knockoff. If Soma was the game that made you wince when robots cried in pain, this is the game that makes you laugh at robots crying in pain. Anyone remember the days when dial-up was a thing? Hahaha, what a horror story, Mark. AAA game jokes at the expense of DRM, yet still contains performance-hampering DRM. Yandelavasa Gredenwi Stravenka. Wait, this has how many achievements? Who'd have thought that an ASCII prompt would make for quite the addictive sci-fi fantasy quest? Today's fish is trout a la creme. Enjoy your meal. Whoever remakes this game and removes the feature where your character grows old and retires will have officially made the greatest pirate game ever. So, Just Cause 3 runs like shit on my old GTX 760, but this game released 3 months prior from the same developer runs perfectly fine on the same setup. What a world. Hashtag verify Venus. I think it says something about licensed games that it takes one of the post-Star Wars LEGO games to nail the feeling of Iron Man flying around a city. The misaimed marketing and forgettable gameplay loop both kill this game more than the Gamergate reference. Very humorless third-person Borderlands. Come try our innovative voice command system! No thanks, it sucks balls. You got the touch! I have never had so much fun being terrified of a cheap death in a stealth game. Until Epic brings back the single-player career mode, I doubt the next iteration in the series is gonna top this.
I am George Soros. America is mine. The world is mine. Your life is mine.
This is not the greatest metal game in the world. No, this is just a tribute. It's like the black and white bit from Kill Bill, but with spaceships and machine guns. If I have to install a mod to be less pissed off at the contextually inconsistent mission timer, that's not really a point in its favour. Diablo with space politics. The Uplink guys take on Theme Hospital in a prison brawl. A worthy remake of one of my favourite NES games ever, but fuck do I regret paying full price for it. The greatest metal game in the world. Play me off, Mr. Halford. Hey dude, what if Portal had like Cthulhu crowbarred into it?
Team Fortress 2 minus the balance breaking equipment system, love.
Waiter, there's a critique of consumer culture in my freemium satire physics toy. Oh come on, I built a mask out of papier-mâché and plaster of Paris so I could cosplay as one of the characters. Is that really not enough of a hint to my opinion? The mocked up brand names were a little funny. Smell that? Smells like a lawsuit from the residents. As a musician with a background in jazz improvisation, this series' dynamic soundtrack is just made for me. The banter from the title character makes the generic levels and terrible boss fights worth it. Napoleon charges around in the Spider from Wild Wild West and you have to use a steampunk Evangelion to stop him with the power of Bejeweled. I love it. A prime example of how tying progression into an Angry Birds-esque 3-star reward structure so tightly can really ruin a game's lasting appeal. Don't go, keep it secrets from the night. I can watch every variation of Dr. Faust's insta-kill move all day. Shinobu can die in a fire. The one time in the history of creation where I will ever choose another version over the car accident of a PC port. What if Double Fine's hack and slash was also a giant middle finger indirectly aimed at the gospel according to Peter Molyneux?
But the fan game required actual skill to use the maneuver gear.
Too bad it didn't have much else going for it. Imagine the lockpicking minigame from Skylanders if you could play as a killer fridge. It's such a glorious F-Zero tribute, I'm honestly surprised Nintendo hasn't cease and desisted it out of nothing but envy. Shinobu can still die in a fire. The localization backlash essentially defending borderline child porn only serves to distract from how incomprehensibly vanilla this experience is despite the game's quirky style. Left 4 Dead, but with better melee combat than almost every FPS game ever. A better Evangelion game than that Japan-only N64 game. Oh bugger off, Arona, I'm not buying into your transparent scalping. Broforce with an interesting framing device and far too many joke characters. This is the most innovative shooter I've played in years. Gameplay's good, story's crap, hashtag fuck Konami. Oh dear, now I pity the people who were suckered into buying the Jack Skellington figure. The main character is a total moron and I love it. Dynasty Warriors with jiggle physics and cheesecake. Now, I shall wait here with the cards on the table while you go and play Arkham Asylum for a few minutes. Super Monkey Ball is designed by Terry Gilliam.